This video, I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 secrets of vibrational alignment that makes everything so much easier. I'm going to share with you ways of I applying it in my own life that's totally changed everything, made everything easier, more aligning, more momentum, and so many other things. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you those 3 secrets of alignment, vibrational alignment, understanding that when we raise our vibration, things happen easier than ever. Now, think about it. This is the easiest way that I think about it, at least, is when it comes to what we want to experience in our life, think of it as a television station, television channel, TV channel. And think of it like there is a certain channel on channel 54 that's a certain thing, and then another channel on 27, it's a different thing. And what happens is when we're looking at one channel to the other channel, the difference is simply the vibration. It's simply the frequency that it is at. Now, when it comes to vibrational alignment, when we are the highest vibration, it means we are in alignment with who we really are. And then what happens is as we tune to the vibration of who we really are, not only does our vibration raise, but what we perceive of is then equal to what we are putting out. So for example, if we're feeling abundant, if we're feeling great, if we're feeling excited, we're going to experience a certain television channel. But if we're feeling low, we're feeling the lack of that vibration, then we may experience something more like the news or something more negative. So the key to this is asking ourselves the question, what am I tuning into and what channel am I vibrating with? What am I experiencing in my life right now? And this secret, this isn't even one of the secrets I'm going to share, but the main fundamental core that I found in my own life with this whole process is understanding that when it becomes about our passion, doing what we love doing, that raises our vibration the most. Me doing what I love, me making videos, for example, I feel in a very great state. I feel very good when I do that. And because of that, normally it was like back in the day, I would focus on the things that I wanted from what I wanted to experience. Like the reason we get into vibrational alignment is because then we get all of the things that come with that. It's like then we get the reflection that is equal to what we are putting out. But the thing is those things aren't very fulfilling. And when we focus on those things first, we end up a lot of times blocking our natural vibration from coming through. So what I'm saying is that if we make the vibration, the passion, primary, those things come anyways. It's a funny thing because now I don't have to focus on abundance and money because I'm so focused on my passion that those come anyways. But back in the day, I thought it was going to be like, oh, I got to focus on the money. I got to focus on all this kind of stuff. So the first secret that I have for you is actually has to do with balance of all different areas of our life. Now, I'm somebody that puts a lot of what I do into my passion. So it would seem a little bit, I guess, ironic that I would mention something like this. But I do realize how powerful it is because every area of our life influences every other area. So if we're out of alignment with one area, and that's weighing down on all the other areas, what we can begin to do is to let go and allow things to be as they are. I'll talk about that in a minute as well. But what we begin to do is we begin to naturally raise our vibration. So I was just yesterday listening to an audiobook by Sadhguru, if you guys ever heard of him. And he was talking about how with enlightenment, it's necessary to have it balanced out in all areas of life. You must have the body aligned with the intellect, aligned with the energy, aligned with all the different aspects, the chakras. All these things must be aligned. But sometimes what we do is we overdo and we burn ourselves out in certain ways. Like imagine, like I just bought this thing, for example. This thing is called a Whoop. And what it does is I wear it and it tracks my heart rate and it knows when I'm sleeping. It does all of these things, so it optimizes and tells me how often I'm sleeping, what kind of deep sleep it is, when I'm working out, how many calories I'm burning, the intensity of my workouts. It looks at everything I do with my health so that I can optimize it and see how much more time I need for recovery. So this thing gives me all those different metrics, and it lets me know what I am doing and what I need to switch up. Now, think about it. If you were to work out and burn yourself out, not get any sleep, wake up the next day, or not wake up because you didn't get any sleep, but if you were to like get up the next day with only an hour sleep, for example, and you have to go straight back into a really hardcore workout, your body wouldn't be happy with you. And in the same way, if we burn ourselves out in certain ways, that will affect other areas of our vibration. So what I recommend is becoming aware of the food that you put into your body, because the food you put into your body literally has to break down to become a part of you. And if it takes a lot of energy to break down your food, then that will help drain the energy. Anytime it comes to manifestation, what I've noticed in my own life is the more energy I put in a certain direction, the more that grows. Now, if my energy is low and I'm not putting a lot of energy into something, like as much as I could be, then it won't manifest to the degree it could. In general, for us to create amazing things in our life, it requires energy. Doesn't mean it has to be hard. It just means that when you're in a high vibration, there's more energy flowing through. So diet, I found for me, eating healthier, eating nutrient-rich foods has allowed me to feel much better. And there's an intimate correlation between what we put into our body to how we feel, to how that affects our brain. And that's something that really has changed my life, is eating. I eat very clean now. A lot of nutrient-rich foods, a lot of spinach and kale and stuff like that. And every now and then I'll enjoy myself with what they call a cheat meal. But even then, it's normally somewhat healthy. And it's something that allows me to have a high vibration. So I meditate to balance out all of the action I take with me doing what I love, with me making videos, with all these other things. Balance it out in many different ways. If you find you have low energy, could be the diet. It could be what you're focused on. Maybe you're identified with your thoughts. It could be certain things that are fatiguing you, like doing something you're not passionate about. Maybe go to a job that you're not passionate about. And to balance that out, do something you are passionate about when you're not doing that. Reward yourself when you are moving towards your dream or whatever it is. But what I found is that balance is key to keeping vibration high, and especially when it's all the way around, things are feeding into each other. Everything, what I've noticed, I've been applying this in my own life. However you do one thing is how you do everything. That's a philosophy that I've really kind of adopted in a way. And when I wake up in the morning, this is going to sound kind of weird, but I believe that waking up and making your bed is one of the best things you could do right when you wake up. Because when you make your bed, what you do is you tell yourself, or in a way, you just start your day off right. And when you do that, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. If you do one thing kind of in it, kind of not in it, you might do everything else in your life kind of in it, kind of not in it. You may have a relationship that you're kind of into, kind of not into. You may have your relationships with other people you're kind of into, you're kind of not into. You may kind of have a passion that you're kind of into, kind of not into. So the way you do anything is the way you do everything. When it comes to your vibration, align with all the different areas of your life, and it doesn't have to be that hard. Just be aware of what you put into your body and how you feel, of the different activities you do to how you feel. And all these things will help make it so much easier for you. So the second vibrational secret that you may have not heard of before has to do with understanding that many times we think that we need to pile on a new idea to maintain and raise our vibration. But it's actually more about letting go. Now, this is an important idea because the thing is we naturally are of a very high vibration. Think of it like this. We are naturally of a very high vibration. We resonate at a very high frequency as a soul. What we do is we decide that we're going to come to Earth. We say, I'm going to go to Earth because things are a lot slower there and I can experience and learn a whole bunch of stuff in a very short period of time because we only live like 100 years here. Things go by like that. I'm going to come to Earth. I'm going to learn a whole bunch of stuff. And when we come here, we forget who we are. So immediately we're disconnected. We feel disconnected. We're never really disconnected from this larger source of who we are. And what we do is we come here, we forget that that's who we are. We forget that we are of a very high vibration. And we come here and then it's like we have these life experiences. And the purpose of life is to remember who we are, The purpose of life is actually really to let go of all the things that we are not, because we accumulate all these things growing up. We're on earth, and it's like, oh, these things happen, we get treated a certain way, we develop beliefs, and these things weigh us down. And the key is knowing that this natural high vibration from up here is who we naturally are. And when we go to bed every single night, what we do is we wake up as this higher level of consciousness. We simply don't remember it, because if we did remember it, it might not be really relevant. Imagine you remember when you're waking up every morning that you exist in a high frequency state of consciousness where it's unconditional love and bliss, and then you wake up here and you might look around and be like, where's that unconditional love I was just experiencing? Was that real, or was that just a fantasy dream? It may not be relevant, but there are ways of remembering. And it's about understanding, though, that that is who we naturally are. We are there every night. We are simply dreaming right now that this is who we are. It makes it easier for us to know that vibrational alignment is a natural part of life when we see that, are we doing what we are passionate about? That's an important part of the process. And the other part of this is just simply letting go. I remember I had my spiritual awakening experience back in 2012. And what happened was, as I started meditating, I started to observe my thoughts. I remember that as I was observing my thoughts, I saw all of these thoughts that no longer served me. I became aware. I was like, man, I think that I have ADHD, because I was told that, and I was taking prescription for it and stuff. So in 2012, and I was like, oh, that's a belief that I have. I became aware of that belief. I observed that thought itself, and I had an epiphany that I didn't have to believe that. I didn't have to have that be my truth anymore. I started to do inventory of all the beliefs I had. And I was like, man, I have all these limiting beliefs about myself. I felt unworthy because a lot of the things I went through as a child. And what I did is I looked at it, I observed it, and then I started to allow it to be there. Allowing, and it naturally starts to go away. It's funny how that works. But as I did that, I started to feel totally different. Within a day or two, within about 2 or 3 days of meditating, I was walking around my room and I felt so euphoric that I thought the feeling was going to go away. I'm like, what is this feeling? Why am I feeling this way? It must be too good to be true. Now, the thing is, it wasn't too good to be true. It just became my natural set point, and that is how I have felt ever since. Of course, it still goes up and down. It's what happened is on a scale of 1 to 10, I was on average feeling about a 3 to a 4 to a 5 out of 10, which means I wasn't feeling that great, 1 feeling not so great, 10 feeling amazing. And then all of a sudden, I started feeling at a 7 or an 8 out of 10. And all of a sudden, I was like, that became my natural set point. Now, of course, it still goes up and down a little bit, but in general, that is a totally different level, a totally different reality than before. But since then, it's been so easy for me to be in vibrational alignment because I'm aware of these things as they come up. I'm aware of these negative thoughts. I'm aware of them. Not always, but many times I can catch them because of pattern. It's just keep going through it. I'm like, oh yeah, let go. Oh yeah. And that changes so much. So with vibrational alignment, understand that you may have a lot of beliefs that come up. You may have a lot of perspectives that don't serve you. Observe them and then simply let them go. They don't have to control you right now in the present moment. And that your vibration is naturally this high vibe. This is who you are. Now, the third secret of vibration has to do with understanding the power of momentum. Now, I used to work a sales commission job at Nordstrom's, selling women's shoes. Then eventually I worked at Barney's New York, also selling women's shoes. And it was like high-end luxury stores, right? Like the shoes there. I worked in salon shoes at Nordstrom's. The average price point was like $300 to $500, and then at Barnes New York it was like $7,000 to $8,000 a pair of shoes. So there was a certain vibe there, and a certain level of type of customer I was helping. There was a certain level of, it was all commission, so I only got paid based on what I sold. And I remember that there was a direct correlation. What made it really cool is this was after I learned, right when I learned the law of attraction. I was able to go into work every single day and see an intimate correlation between what I think and what I feel to what I've experienced. Because if I'd go on a certain day, have a negative mindset, or I'd be attached to the outcome, I'd have not such a great day. I'd go on another day, be loose, not attached to the outcome, have an amazing day. Here's something I learned though in the process. There is something called momentum. When it comes to vibrational alignment, the more momentum we have, the more unstoppable we become. There were times I'd go into work, I'd just pick up every customer, which means I'd help them and they would buy. I'd help them, they'd buy. I'd help them buy. It get to a point to where every single person I help would pretty much buy, or if they didn't, it would lead to like the next customer buying, or like I was in the right place at the right time. It was just it was weird the way it worked, but it was very powerful. Now on the other side of that, there'd be times when there'd be the opposite momentum. I'd go in and every single customer would walk me, meaning they didn't buy anything. And it would just happen over and over again. And then what I realized though is this delicate switch is what made the switch from vibrational alignment. Now, what I had to do, and this is what I learned over like years of doing this, is what I would do is have to let it be okay that a customer comes in and doesn't buy anything, and not be attached to the outcome, and help them and have a great attitude even while I'm helping them. Because as I started to be okay and just joke around and have a good time, even if they didn't buy, my state of being would go up. And as my state of being would go up, I would then start to pick up the customers that did buy. So you see, it was kind of a funny thing. You have to let the energy drain out. You have to let the momentum go. But the way you do that is by observation, not by resistance. Because I would get mad. I'd go like to a customer and I'd be helping them. And then once I figured out they weren't going to buy anything, I'd get kind of like, I wouldn't say anything, of course, but I'd get kind of like really short with them. Like, okay, thanks. Have a great day, you know. And it was because I was being attached to the outcome and I wasn't trusting the process. Trust the process and know that there's going to be a certain momentum that's going, but the secret to changing that momentum is observing it, letting it be there, and then simply deciding to then choose and to have a good state of being anyways. Remember, the key to vibrational alignment is not to control the outside environment. It's not to even control the television station. The key, like the television station of what we are experiencing equal to the vibration we're at, the key to it is knowing that as we increase our state of being, all of those things on the outside change anyways. So if you make the primary focus your state of being and how you feel, and you're just there to have a good time, you're there to have fun, you loosen up, then things begin to happen in a very powerful way. I'll leave you with one more thing. I was reading this book, or I was listening to this summary of this book called The As-If Principle, very similar to the Act As If Principle. And the As-If Principle is that if you simply you act as if, your body and your physiology changes. Many times we think that when we're happy, we will smile, but in actuality, if we smile, we will then be happy. The physiology of our body changes how we feel. So for vibrational alignment, what I recommend you do is to simply play a little game with yourself. Act as if you're in a peak state. Act as if you're in a peak state. Simply be it and watch how everything begins to align to it. They've done science experience after science experience of testing this, where they put electrodes on someone's face, and what they did is they had to smile to put these electrodes on. Those people that kept smiling would naturally feel more serotonin and dopamine than the people that weren't, even though they had no idea going into the study that was the focus of the study. They thought it was just putting electrodes on their body for some other reason. But in so many different ways, they've proven that physiology changes how we feel. And when you change how you feel, you change your vibration. When you change your vibration, you change the television channel that you're looking at to whatever is equal to. So that is the key. So with all that, another thing I have is, like I was saying in the beginning or in the middle of this video, raising my vibration. I raised my vibration from a 3 to a 5 out of 10 to a 7 or 8 out of 10. I've created a free guided meditation that will help you to get the same result. It's in the top of the description box below. I think if you listen to it for 21 days, it'll powerfully impact your life. It's absolutely free. So if you want, listen to that for 21 days. I think you'll find it very powerful. Also, I'll be doing more live Q&As on Instagram. So if you haven't followed me on Instagram, I'll go ahead and post that right below. I do Q&As quite often there. Plus, what I do is I do daily content there as well. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little notification here next to the subscribe button so that you can see the daily vids that I do. And other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.